Jason Williams. I'm a youth pastor and a returned camper to Rock and Water. I think the thing I like best about Rock and Water is the teamwork and the ability for my group to get together. They do a quality job. The food is great. The experiences on the river, on the canyon, whatever you're doing, guides are on top of it. Safety is not an issue. They are stellar. That's what I would say. Craig runs a great camp here. I'd come here if I were you.
Rock and Water does a great job of bringing people out of their element and getting them into some real adventure. I mean, legitimate, true adventure with the rock hikes and the huge natural pools, and then all the rafting. It's like every kid's dream, in my opinion. It's perfect.
I tell you what, this was so much fun. My kids were challenged. They were never pushed to a point where they were put in any kind of dangerous situation or something they didn't feel comfortable with. And safety, the staff here is so awesome because safety was so important to them, and it made me feel comfortable just knowing that when they were doing something with my kids, that the kids were completely safe.
I think just what we get here is just kind of the whole package. We get to enjoy God's amazing creation. We get to get challenged physically, challenged spiritually, and I think it really builds our community within our team of young people. They have to work together to accomplish things, cheer people on. When somebody's feeling like they can't make it or do something, everyone's just pulls right in to help them or encourage them or give them what they need to do it. And I think that represents how we are supposed to be working as a body of Christ in each other's lives spiritually as well, to encourage each other when we're feeling down or going through tough times, to be there for each other. So it's kind of a living object lesson for our lives as the body of Christ. And then it's just so great and fun. And honestly, the guides are great, all of them. The staff here, Craig and Maya, it's such a neat environment to learn all those things in. It really sets the stage for all the good stuff. So we love coming, and thank you for having us.
Our first year, last year, it was kind of like a tough move. I mean, it was a real risk taker to come to this camp because we had been going to like more organized camps and more like, you know, camps where you go and you sleep in cabins and you're kind of out in nature, but you're not really. I mean, you know, you're out in the woods. But you know, I wanted something that would really challenge the kids and help them to bond together and you know, help one another. And, you know, really kind of reach out to one another, and also to get away from, you know, the rat race of a city, because you know, El Segundo is near Los Angeles, and just to kind of get out in nature and, you know, connect with God. That I wanted these guys to experience something more, you know, challenging, adventurous, and you know, just being out in nature and, you know, kind of communing with God, you know, in God's country, you might say.
I love Rock and Water. It's been great for our ministry. Probably the greatest thing about Rock and Water for our group has been that it's fun, but it's challenging. It really stretches my kids. For most of my kids, they don't try to do anything hard. They sit in front of their computer, they listen to their iPods, and they text message their friends. And they are very sedentary. For a lot of them, they have not been out in nature, not seen God's creation, and they don't do anything physical. And it's been great to see them stretch themselves, grow in their faith, understand themselves better.
Last night at last night's campfire, we were singing worship, and we sang the song Indescribable, and it talks about God's creation and how He just does so much for us. And I recalled the verse that even the rocks will cry out and worship Him, and that all nature declares His glory. And to think that we should be declaring God's glory too. And it was such just an awesome experience of seeing God's creation and the youth getting to experience that.
Well, I've been in youth ministries for over 8 years, and been to lots of different camps, and I'll have to just be really honest. This has been by far my favorite. This is our second year with Rock and Water, And we love getting the kids out of their element. That's part of the focus of camps. And one of the most beautiful things is when you get them out of their element into God's country, where they're able to contemplate and see the beauty that God has given us. And everything, you know, this year we did the Backpacker Palooza. And one of the wonderful things about the Backpacker Palooza is you take a hike and you hike in about 5 miles. And that just really does a lot. It does tire the kids physically to an extent, but it breaks down all of the walls, and that dirt starts getting kind of kicking up, and you start looking at all that blue sky and all that beauty that's out there, and it just totally changes the thought patterns. It breaks the cycle that the kids are in, and completely gives them a whole different perspective of life. And what that works for is it becomes very effective for us to be able to communicate the gospel, to make connections, to use some of the physical exercise that they're doing to reinforce some of the things that God is doing in their life. And also why I love Rock and Water is really it's the staff. The staff have a love for Jesus and they have a love for kids. And it becomes incredibly obvious that they are here to serve, and that they will challenge these kids to do things that they don't think that they're capable of doing. And once they reach those new places, their boundaries expand, and they have a new self-confidence that radiates from their faces.
And we had an awesome time. It was a blast. I mean, there are a lot of other trips out there, and I think retreats, but there's nothing like Rock and Water. It's unique, and it fills a great niche, and the staff here are top quality. It's extremely safe, and it really just pushes kids' limits and helps them really to I mean, they don't know what they can do until they're pushed that way. So yeah, we had a great time. I think the time we spend here together, because we're in situations where we have to really rely on each other, I see the youth being a lot closer. And you've shared that, you know, sometimes at church they don't see us helping each other out a lot, but especially on this trip, there was a lot of helping each other out and making sure people were okay. So a lot of camaraderie. And not only that, we also have just worship at night as well with our guest speaker, and some of the kids had real spiritual breakthroughs while they were here as well.
Because it is an absolutely joyful, awesome, wonderful place to be. It's a wholesome environment. A whole bunch of Jesus freaks up here. Really, they're competent. They have real good attention to safety. Our kids have no electronics, so there's a great freedom. Mostly the kids challenge themselves in ways they hadn't thought about. When they make it to the top of the mountain, it's like, wow, we did it. Or they make it down the river safely. They've all overcome things by being up here. The food is fabulous, especially banana boats. There's just great support. As a youth pastor, having all of these other people love my kids and help, you know, they help with devotionals and the prayer, just being surrounded by people who take their faith seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously, because it is wonderfully playful and just a really joyful, lighthearted place to be.
Well, we came last year, and our church has been coming for a couple of years, and every year this is the one trip that our kids really, really say they want to come to. You know, regardless of what we do, no matter how much other activities we do in the summer, it's Rock and Water is the one trip that they really want to do each year. So this is the way we end our summer, is coming up here the last week that you guys are open and celebrate our summer by having a fun time, whitewater rafting and playing games like this and just having a good time. It's a no-brainer for me as a youth minister to come up, because it's a Christian camp, and I know there's other Christian camps up here, but this one, and just the attitude of all the leaders and the staff, it's just, they've been over backwards to preach the gospel, you know, with quiet times, with lessons on the river, with lessons at day. Everything ties into God's love and showing God's love for each other. And it's just, for me as a leader, it's a no-brainer to come to a camp like this that's so focused on God and God's ministry and what God has to do.